Hello, and welcome to the first episode of my new podcast, English with Gemma Podcast. I think that's the name that I'm going to start with. I don't think there's any reason to overcomplicate things and change the name. So, welcome. I'm Gemma, and I'm so happy that you're here. So, I have a confession to make. I just recorded a podcast for you guys. Two things happened. The first one was that I was not recording the video like I thought that I was. I did, however, record the audio, but I want to have a video and audio podcast. So the audio, of course, will go on Spotify, and then the video will be uploaded to YouTube. So I'm back again, re-recording because this is my first time doing this, and I thought I hit record on my iPhone to record the video, and it turns out I had not. So here I am again. And you know what? That mistake actually was very helpful because I realized instead of talking about three or four different topics in one podcast, I think it's better to just choose one. So that's what I'm going to do. Um, and before I kind of get into this, I would like to thank Gideon from GSL English for giving me this little push that I needed to finally start this podcast because I was on his podcast about a week ago, and we had a really nice chat after we finished recording where I kind of told him, like, I've always wanted to have my own podcast. I've had my YouTube channel now for about a year, but I have to be honest, I do not regularly upload to that. And he said to me, just start, just do it. And I think sometimes all we need in life is just someone to give us that little push of motivation. So thank you, Gideon. Here I am. I'm doing it. I didn't press record the first time, but I'm back and I'm determined. So if you guys don't follow Gideon already, he can be found on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram, I believe, as GSL English. I'm just double checking now that I'm recording. Yes, okay. You guys, honestly, I have this phobia that I'm not recording, but I am, I think. No, I definitely am. So, yeah, another reason why I've never had the confidence to just start a podcast like I'm doing right now is because I really my whole life have struggled with perfectionism, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate. And the funny thing about perfectionism is it doesn't actually um it doesn't what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't end up with things actually being perfect at all. It actually does the opposite. It creates procrastination, which, if you don't know, means basically just thinking and thinking and thinking and never doing what you're supposed to do. So, perfectionism stops me from doing things because I think to myself, if I can't do it perfectly, I shouldn't do it at all. And that is such a stupid mentality to have because then it stops me from doing so many things. So, all of that is to say, this is my first episode, and I just want to apologize because I'm still figuring everything out. So, right now, if you're watching on YouTube and you're watching the video, I don't even know if I'm in the center of the video. The microphone might be blocking your view of my mouth. I'm still figuring out whether I want to use a mic stand or if I want to continue using this arm that's holding my microphone. I also have never used a professional microphone before, so I might need to change some settings on it. So yeah, I don't even know how to upload things onto Spotify. So, this is going to be like a learning process for me. And I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for bearing with me while I figure all of the technical aspects out of starting a podcast. And yeah, so the idea basically, I kind of have two ideas about the structure of how I want this to go, and I will share them with you. And I think what I'll end up doing is a mixture of the two. So the first kind of idea is um, kind of what I'm going to do today, which is just talking about a topic for 20 to 30 minutes. Today might be a little bit shorter because I have a class in 20 minutes and I already recorded for an hour today and then found out it was not recording, but that's okay. So yeah, the first idea is to kind of just talk about a topic that hopefully will be interesting to many different people. And hopefully that will allow you some listening practice. You will learn new vocabulary, phrasal verbs, maybe some grammar structures that you haven't seen before. It will be very natural and conversational English. You know, a native English speaker and I'm from Bermuda, so my accent is definitely more on the American side. And I think it's great to listen to all different accents as well. That's something that I wanted to mention. Gideon, like I mentioned earlier from GSL English, has a British accent, and my accent's more American. And some people were commenting that it was difficult to understand me. And I think that it's great. Like, if you realize someone is difficult to understand because of their accent, that's great because that highlights that maybe you need to practice listening to more accents. If you always listen to British accents, or you always listen to American, or you always listen to Australian or Jamaican or Indian or any type of native English speaker, you will obviously get used to that accent. So I think it's really great to listen to a plethora of different accents, and also, I'm going to try to speak clearly. Um, I'm not going to slow down my speech that much for you guys because I really believe it's important to listen to real life English. And in real life, native English speakers talk fast. I'm sure in your native language, people speak quickly. So that's just something that you really have to practice getting used to if you want to be able to understand people in the real world. So, yeah, that's the first idea. It's kind of just, conversational, natural. I'll talk about any topics that you guys are interested in. I'm open to any suggestions. If you do have any suggestions for things that you want to hear from me, please send me an email or write a comment below. My email is englishwithgemma292@gmail.com. That's englishwithgemma292@gmail.com. I feel like I'm doing a radio advertisement or something. So yeah, I'm open to any suggestions. Please, I would love to hear what you would like to hear because at the end of the day, this podcast is not for me, it's for you and it's to help you. And yeah, I would really, really love if you guys would give me some suggestions. And so my second idea is basically more focused on English learning. So, maybe I'll do a podcast about how to improve your pronunciation, or I'll do a podcast about some grammar structures that are complex and, need a longer form video to explain. So that's something also that I was thinking about. I'm really excited to dabble, to experiment with this type of longer form content because I love my Instagram and I love making short little videos for you guys to help you out with your English learning journeys. But, you know, those short videos are very, very short. They're like 30 seconds. The longest one is going to be 1 minute long. And I think it's really hard to really grasp the information that you need from a very, very short video. So I'm really looking forward to being able to have the freedom to make these longer style videos, podcasts, and I hope you are too. So, those are my two main ideas. One, conversational style podcast, and two, more English learning content. And I'm just going to combine the two of them. And I'll probably just alternate between both. And like I said, again, I would love to hear your suggestions on things that you would be interested in hearing on the podcast. So today, like I said, I I had like four different topics. I already recorded that whole episode and it was very, very long. And also, I just think it was too many topics. So I think the universe was sending me a message when my video didn't record. The message was, Gemma, this is too long and too complicated. Just choose one topic and do that instead. Well, thank you, universe. The message was loud and clear, and now I'm just going to choose one topic for today. So today's topic is something about me, about my personal life. But I think it's something that we can all, or at least most of us, can relate to. And the topic is moving country. So recently, I moved from Spain back to my home country, which, like I said before, is Bermuda. And that was a huge decision for me. And I made that decision very, very quickly and in a very um not great mental or emotional state. So basically, I had lived in Spain from 2018 up until September 2023. In September, my ex-boyfriend of 5 years, um, our relationship came to a very abrupt end. It was incredibly shocking for me. It was not expected at all. It came out of the blue, which means out of nowhere. I was totally not expecting it. I was very upset. And I made the split second decision to come back home to Bermuda after living in Spain for 5 years. And I don't regret the decision. I wish I had maybe taken a second to think about it, but I just was not in the emotional place to do that. And yeah, basically, I got on a plane, packed up the last 5 years of my life into like four suitcases, which honestly, in my opinion, is pretty impressive because 5 years is a long time and you accumulate a lot of crap, a lot of stuff. Um, so I jumped on the plane. My older sister was with me, and she was like my knight in shining armor. You know, she helped me so much through that time. She helped me pack. She got me on that flight. And then I came home to Bermuda, and for like the last 6 months, I feel like I've just been in this weird headspace. It's a weird period of adjustment where I'm just getting used to being here because I haven't lived in Bermuda since I was 14. I went to boarding school. I lived in England for 8 years. Then I went to university in England, and then I moved to Spain when I was 21. So haven't really lived in Bermuda for a very long time. And it's been an adjustment period. I'm starting to finally kind of feel at peace now, and get used to living here. And I know for sure in the future I would like to move back to Spain, but I'm not in a rush anymore because when I first got back to Bermuda, I was like giving myself these cutoff times. I was like, okay, 1 year in Bermuda and then I have to move back to Spain. And now I'm just more chill. I'm like, okay, let's take it day by day. And I know that I have this, ultimate goal of moving back to Spain, but it doesn't need to happen by a certain time. I just know that I'm moving toward that goal. So, yeah, of course, a lot of people say, like, but it's your home country and your family and friends are there. Like, why do you want to live in Spain? The thing is, for me, is I just have this feeling of really wanting to travel. I'm 27 in April. And I haven't really traveled all that much, and there are a lot of places on my list that I want to see. So, it's much easier to travel from Spain than it is Bermuda, because Bermuda is a tiny island in the Atlantic Ocean, and it's very difficult to travel from Bermuda to other countries, and it's very expensive. So if I'm in Spain and that's my home base, it's much, much easier and cheaper to travel around Europe, travel around Spain itself. So that's my ultimate goal. Um, and yeah, I would love to hear in the comments, or feel free to send me an email if you can relate to this weird feeling of like adjustment when you move to a new country. I definitely had that feeling when I first moved to Spain. That's a whole different story for another day. Um, but yeah, I'm assuming if you who are listening or watching, if you're learning English as a second language or any language, you're probably learning because you either want to move countries, you already have, maybe you want to study or work in an English speaking country. So I'm sure this feeling of leaving your home country and moving to a different place, or even thinking about it, can sometimes be scary and difficult. And I would really be interested to hear your experiences with this, and if you have this similar kind of feeling to me where you feel kind of weird and a little bit displaced, and then over time you start to feel better. I promise. I definitely feel a lot more at peace about where I am and where I am in life, but also where I am physically living. And another thing to remember is it's not necessarily where you are physically. It's more like where are you mentally and emotionally. And I've done a lot of work recently on just being okay, like in my head, which has helped me be okay where I am physically. Because I realize sometimes we think our environment is going to change everything. Like our environment will change how we feel. And sometimes you realize, like, oh, actually, no, it's me. It's how I feel. It doesn't matter where I am. It's I'm the problem. Not the problem, but I'm the reason for how I'm feeling, not where I'm living. Where I'm living isn't that reason. So at least that was true for me. So yes, I'm in Bermuda and I'm okay with that. And then my ultimate goal is to move back to Spain. So that's today's topic, moving country. We're not going to get into the other topics yet, but I have lots of ideas for this podcast. And like I said, very excited. Again, I just want to thank you if you listened to this first episode. I know it was a little all over the place. I promise it's going to keep getting better. It's a learning process. It's going to improve. I'm really excited for it. And like I said, if you have any suggestions at all, don't be shy. Please feel free to send me your ideas. So that's it for today, guys. I'll see you next week. No, I'm not hoping. I am going to post one of these every week. Yes, that is my promise to you and to myself. So I will see you next week. And until then, happy learning. Mwah. Bye.